Good evening out there in Spray Wash Land. Waiting on Ray to come in. He's out doing his employee stuff. And Chicagoland is here and making us know that he is number one here again first, and that he is saying free Kyle. I'm not going to get into the middle of the politics side of it, but yeah, free Kyle. Yeah. Go Brandon, free Kyle, all that kind of fun stuff. I've watched some of that thing today. I didn't really watch the trial at all. And I know I'm not supposed to be getting into this really, but yeah, I did. I watched some of the closing remarks. I haven't watched all of it. I feel like that's a whole sad thing for our country. It really, really is. So anyhow, there's that. Again, waiting on Ray. I'm not going to be waiting on Ray, but Ray's supposed to be joining us here just about any time. So he's off on a job. I think he said he's in. I can't remember where he said he's at, but he's out there somewhere doing his thing for his company and all that kind of fun stuff. So Wild West is in the house. Man, sorry, this whole throat thing. Sorry, guys. Pablo, Mr. Frank is in the house. Mr. James is in the house. Mr. James and I and Ray are going to have a one-on-one here pretty soon. Well, not a one-on-one. We're going to have it with all y'all, and we're going to talk about the American Soft Wash Alliance. That's going to happen here sometime in the near future. Something I could definitely get behind, just so y'all know, because I know a couple of us have talked about it. Rabbit hole time. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Truth Seeker is here, and that was Wild West back there. And I see that Ray is in the house, and I've got to add him to the. There he is.
What's happening?
What's happening?
Oh, you know what? Oddly enough, I'm at work.
At work, where you belong, employee number 7.
Exactly.
And we got Jacob Diesel that Jacob dude.
I'm in a new company truck. I got to figure out the best place for this.
They gave you a truck?
Yeah. Well,
after seeing all the trucks that you have, they gave you a truck.
They gave me a truck to deliver to Tallahassee because we're growing again, and this is going to be a manager's truck for the Tallahassee branch. So, yeah, have another truck over there.
There you go.
So I actually hitched a ride halfway to Jacksonville, had some friends in Jacksonville come over and pick me up in Lake City, drove into Jacksonville where I'm here consulting all week, and then driving this truck around, and I'll deliver it back to Tallahassee.
There you go. So what is that truck? And what is that, just going to be like a sales truck, or is it going to turn into
it's really more of a support truck for the 4 vehicles they have in the Tallahassee market already. It's a F-150. Here, I'll take it up and show you. Probably a little dark in this parking lot, but yeah, just a nice little F-150 logo.
Yeah, I can't see it.
So,
is it got color to it?
Oh, it's yellow. It's crystal clean yellow, baby.
Oh yeah, there you go. Gotta make it yellow. You know what?
Oh, everything crystal clean is yellow. They love their yellow.
I mean, it's a smart move, getting something that stands out, and that's why I went with the green.
No, I mean it's while I would say it's not the most aesthetically pleasing look in the world, it is, however, extremely noticeable. And whenever you have a fleet of 40 trucks and lifts that are all painted yellow, you really tend to notice it.
Well, if I can pull it up. Trying to see if I can pull it up. This is what I'm looking at right now. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh, I like it.
I like it. So
I like that a lot.
Try to go look at it this last weekend, but he had something going on or whatever. So Wild West says Ray looks good tonight, and now that you've turned the light on, you probably don't look as good.
Still, I'm trying to figure out the best place to not blind y'all with the cab lights and that I can actually hear, because let's try the hard hat as a phone holder here. This is awful. I am not used to there we go. We'll just do it like that. Perfect.
That'll work.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right.
So
Yes,
yeah,
Chicago,
to explain it, so I've my contract is now over with Crystal Clean selling the company selling spray wash, because I was contractually obligated for 6 months until the beginning of November, and but now I'm doing some side gig work as a consultant for them, coming over to Jacksonville and working with their crews and seeing the efficiency and seeing how they're running, and you know, anything I can do to help them become more efficiency, because let's face it, you know, efficiency is the name of the game whenever you're starting to run crews and have lots of, well, it doesn't matter if you're small or big or whatever, efficiency is the name of the game.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things where I know we've talked about it in the past, but I don't think it's been talked about in a good while. And that is, you know, I remember, I guess this has probably been about 4 or 5 years ago, having a discussion about efficiency. And one of the things was, and I think what brought it up, if my memory's serving me correctly, is somebody saying, yeah, I can finally, you know, I'm lowering my rates now because I'm so much faster. I'm making a lot of money in no time, and I don't feel right taking that money. And I'm like, that's counterintuitive to me. It's no. You've now become more efficient. You've become better at what you do. You don't lower your rates. I mean, if you want, leave your rates where they are, but don't lower your rates. You're just
Right.
all you're doing by becoming more efficient is giving yourself a raise. That's what that's all about. The more experience you gain, the more you learn, you're giving yourself a raise by, instead of it taking all day to do that one job, now you can go out and you can do two. You just got a raise.
And you know, that's actually kind of what started this whole going down this rabbit hole, is whenever we got very busy May and June. Well, June we had a bunch of contracts we had bid on come in. You know, $150,000 worth of contracts that had to be done in a 60-day period that also coincided with our regular work. So we called, you know, the home office, and we said, look, we want, you know, we need help. And this is part of the reason, you know, we sold to a large company. And so they sent us a couple of guys over on detachment to us. And then after working with me and doing things our way, now this was an absolute stud that worked with their company. He's actually now more efficient. You know, we had the team meeting. They said, look, he's got about 30%. He can do about 30% more per month on him. So feel free to load him up. So they said, well, man, if we could do 30% more with him, heck, let's do it with other guys in the company. And you know, this could be, if we can go 10%, you know, this
absolutely
across the board efficiency, because you know
the numbers they're doing, if they go 5% more efficient, they're going to be cranking it.
Well, you know, at some point you wind up, you make your money around the margins. You know, I mean, it's the 5% here, the 10% here. You know, at some point that becomes really a major profit impactor. There is making this up around the margins.
Yeah. You know, Michael, I there was something I wanted to say something to you about. I mean, I wish I could remember what it was. I was supposed to write it down, but something I wanted to, like, congratulate you or something. I don't remember what it was, but something was awesome. I don't know if you can tell us what it was. I don't remember, but anyhow, it was awesome. So congratulations. I don't remember what for, but that's as good as you get out of an old retired fart, right? There you go. Let's see. We've outwashed people with bigger units just because of our process. Efficiency is everything. I don't know who that is, but yeah, absolutely correct. If you get better equipment and you doesn't mean you can't raise your prices. It's the same thing we say all the time. I mean, you still can raise your prices. You can still do the things that you want
Mhm.
to do. It's just giving yourself a raise. It's just making more money. It's what it's all about. It's how come you can, make 200 or 300,000 in a year, or you can buy yourself that brand new truck, or you can buy yourself that old truck. Whatever it is that you happen to want, give yourself that raise. So there you go.
Well, and that's part of the efficiency is, it's whatever you have, learn to use it in the most efficient way possible. And I,
Which is a good segue, by the way.
it really is. But we talk about, I see guys, Siamesing stuff together. I mean, it got real popular, for the last year or so.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm gonna Siamese and these two eights together, or these two sixes together, and boy, am I gonna be efficient there. And more flow isn't always more efficient. I mean, don't get me wrong, heavy flow is great, but you also have to have the water to
To keep up.
supply that
Mhm.
12 or 16 gallons a minute, and if you're not putting in half-inch hoses at some point, you're really just going out there and spending extra money, and you're not really getting that maximum flow that you should be getting out there. If you're not changing out your tips, for this, you're not really doing anything. So
Mhm.
just because it's a popular thing to do, doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to
It's
do
the
it.
right
You've got
thing
to
to
look
do.
at your unique situation.
And your market and what you do and how you do and why you do, and
they,
market
they
needs
gave
everything.
us these absolute beast international trucks that we were working out of, in the Tallahassee market. A lot of guys saw those, and while in some ways they're extremely efficient, there's actually some projects that we literally can't do. There's garages that we did every week, and we had to get then the third truck. We had to say, look, make sure this thing is less than 7 foot 6 inches, or we cannot fit into this garage that we do every single week. That's a six-figure customer.
Yeah,
um Bigger ain't always better.
exactly. I want to go ahead and answer this one. So United Softwash says, "Good evening, guys. Any exciting courses, events planned for Spray Wash Pro in 2022?" Yeah, actually. So part of it is, Ray has had commitments. I've had some commitments. My commitment is over with again, and then Ray's commitment will be over with shortly. One of the things that kind of has held us back a little bit is the Power Wash store. Those Power Wash store people. We know how they suck, right? No. So Ray is going to be opening a Power Wash store. We thought it would be maybe a little bit sooner with everything that's going on, but we do want to bring things and use some of that equipment to help us bring more classes. So I'm actually starting next week, I think it is. I'll be going back into the studio, and I'll be recording some more classes and fixing one of the classes that we have out there right now. So I think we do have a lot to go here in 2022 coming up, and I'm excited for it. So there you go.
The first, probably biggest, thing, the most exciting one starting off January, that we're both
More watch
involved
game.
in is the Power Wash store event, which
Mhm.
really started out as a spray wash event, in Tampa, 4 years ago. And
Exactly.
we featured prominently in that every year with the education since it's been done. So
Mhm.
that is Orlando. Register at
10th and
powerwashstore.com.
11th.
Uh,
January 10th and 11th, I think.
yeah, and I'm on my phone. I can't even see comments unless you post them.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Really excited about that one. We've got, I know we're Brandon Vaughn and Conquer is getting involved with that. And also, yeah, the Profit First guy, that Mike McAllowitz, he's involved with it. And I mean, golly, that's just pretty darn cool. To have somebody like that involved in that thing,
Mhm.
a major author, keynote speaker, and I think he's really going to bring the boom to that. So I know I'm beside myself excited to see that, because I've read a couple of his books and they're amazing.
So this Facebook user says, how do you suggest going about getting larger contracts with company like Lowe's, Home Depot, Publix, etc.? I'll start that one off by saying, walk in the door.
Yep.
You'd be surprised at what you can get out of the manager of that particular store. Some things, depending on the area and location and all that, some things are very much so corporate and are run by corporate, have to go through corporate. And sometimes they have different bid timeframes, and sometimes they actually have contracts that they award for periods of time. And I'm not saying this is with all Home Depots, Lowe's, Publix, whatever, but even banks and all that. Sometimes they'll say, okay, well, we give a 2-year contract, and we've already done that contract. Don't just stop right there. Go on and ask that next question of, okay, when does that contract end? Can we get in on what the bid specifications were? Can we learn what the winning bid amount was? Those sorts of things.
Or could I talk to the regional on that? And very most likely those contracts are not going to be done. Most likely those contracts are not going to be done on a region. I mean, on a local basis, on a store by store basis. Like when I was doing Walmarts, I had a contract for 6 area Walmarts. One of them I had to actually travel a pretty decent little area to, because it was in that region. And that was done regionally, not just by store on there.
And sometimes you have to take the whole region. You can't take an individual store.
But it's probably another area where you can be successful, though, is whenever you go in and talk to the store manager. First off, could I talk? Do you have a number for the regional office? Who would I talk to there, or somebody in purchasing, or facilities? I mean, those would be the keywords you wanted to use there. So you sounded like you're knowledgeable there, but
something along that lines would also be this is where, I mean, like for me and my company, you'd never catch me going anywhere virtually without one of my company shirts on. Virtually everywhere I went, I had my company truck and my company shirt. And the reason I bring that up is when you go into a Walmart or a Lowe's or a Publix or wherever it is that you've got your eye on, there's nothing wrong with, hey, finding out who the manager of that store is. Don't ask him about his concrete. Don't ask him about his building. Don't ask him about nothing. Go up and ask him, hey, do you know where so-and-so is in this, where do I get lumber here? Where do I get, where are the screws? Where are the hammers? Every single time you go in, because every single time you go in, he starts to recognize that you're in there all the time, because you're always wearing your garb. Now he gets to knowing you. And then, maybe one day he says, so yes, I noticed your shirt says pressure washing. What do you think about doing this? Or what do you think about doing that?
Yeah, you're soft pitching.
Building those relationships.
And something else that you can, where you can make inroads on a local market is talking to the managers who handles your emergencies, who handles it whenever somebody throws up outside, or who handles it whenever somebody, drops a gallon of ice cream right at the front door, or because we know stuff happens. And how would I actually, how am I going to, get some of how can I help y'all with that? Because we do offer 24-hour call out, emergency call out services. And to get into that, you may say, well, I don't do that. Well, you might need to do that, to break into that market, because, the majority of that work is going to be done, overnight, and they're not pressure washing during the days then. But that's a way to get in and ingratiate yourself to the local management on there. But, for example, was it Walmart, for a few years, Walmart, and I think they've kind of broken away from this, but Walmart was trying to get their landscaping, parking lot sweeping, and their pressure washing, all done by the same company. They
One
got
company.
really tired of stroking out lots of checks every month, and they wanted to make one check to one company. That's also where the national service providers start coming in as well, because the national service providers will now, it's, if they called Rayco a national service provider, now it's my job to go out there and find uh, 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 washers in every little market, to meet this need of 200 stores in the region. And it's up to my butt to get it done. And I think I mentioned this, it may have been last week or sometime recently. I remember Springwise would send us, quotes in, or, requests for service in, and they'd be like, a Walmart garden center for, $300, $500, and it would show up in the email, and you've been assigned this, and we'd write back and literally scratch through it and write, no, we'll do it for $2,000 or whatever the fee was that we charged for it. And there were times you going, they ain't going to do that. And I was like, well, then they won't have us do it, and sure enough, within a week or two, it would come back on our email, and it would say $2,000 on there where we had crossed it out, because they're contractually committed to get this thing done. And it goes against their report card if they don't get this stuff done that's been ordered out for them.
Ray brought up a good point as well, about the emergency services and all that. Think about this. A lot of these, especially if we go to, let's say it's Home Depot, or let's go ahead and do the Walmart thing that Ray was talking about, where, they do make it to where it's a regional thing, where you have to do all of the Walmarts in, like, let's say where I'm at, Southern Louisiana. So let's say I had to do all of New Orleans, all of Baton Rouge, and all of the Lafayette area. But let's say I lived in Lafayette, right? So now I got to travel like 2 hours, 2.5, 3 hours to go to a location, or maybe even 4 hours to get to a location to do it. And let's say that location has, an ice cream spill or whatever it is that happens. And they call up that company, and that company's like, we can't make it there for about 3 or 4 days, right?
Yeah.
You have to remember that these managers still have a lot of times that P card limit, that purchase card that they can use. So they can still use your service. They may not be able to award you the bigger contract, but again, it's about getting your foot in the door to be able to start doing these little bits and pieces for them. That way, when the big bid does come back up, you'd be surprised at what some of the information you can get sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rocket City asks, question for the masters. What's your thoughts on having the unloader on quick connects for fast, easy swap out in the field?
Yes.
You ever done that, Ray?
Yeah. Yes.
I've done that as well. I've never had a problem with it. And yeah, you just swap them out real quick.
I've seen some of them rattle, and you may go through some more O-rings than normal, but and you should also have a spare, unloader in your truck. I remember somebody a couple of years ago was talking about did a video for an infield repair of a rebuild of an unloader. And I'm sitting there going, why in the hell would you not have a spare unloader out there? Change it out. I mean, if it's on quick connects, you're talking 45 seconds. If you're even if you had
you still got the hose you got to undo for the.
Yeah, I mean, even if you had to go and just and unscrew it, you're still talking maybe 10 minutes of swap out versus a 2-hour rebuild out there. Oh, hell no.
And money is time.
Yeah. And especially in the middle of the freaking night.
Yeah. I remember sidetracking squirrel. I saw somewhere where somebody was making a comment about time is money. I've always kind of looked at it as in money is time. So I don't look at time as money. I look at money as time. Anyhow, never mind.
That's true, though. It is. I mean, it's also the great equalizer. It's the one thing where we can say, hey, so what, you and I are equal. I mean, you've got better hair. Your wife loves you better than mine. So many things you're better at. But the one thing that
your wife loves me better than you.
The one thing that we're equal at is we both have 24 hours a day. and we both have 7 days in a week, you know, and it's what are you going to do with it, and can you maximize it really?
How do you count out 5? Because you said 7. How do you count out 7, Ray? Show me that again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can't do it still. I can't do it. Sorry.
Anyhow, Jacob's got to throw his little 2 cents in there. That makes sense. We haven't, you haven't thought that we hadn't come out with classes because you ate all the crayons, and that is,
you know,
true.
Talking about another class too, and I know we had talked briefly, you know, tonight before when I was still back in Jackson. I'm actually in St. Augustine right now with a night crew that's you can probably see them flashing over there. So we're washing buildings tonight. But I want to standardize and get online that class we did for Spray Wash Pro about the galvan roofs, you know, that we did a year and a half ago. 2 years. Hell, it was 2 years ago now.
I think that's going to somewhat roll in with the some of it'll overlap with the gutter thing, because I definitely want to work on the gutter thing, because this being the 3rd time that I've heard, and for those of you that haven't heard, it was Joe Belmore had some fairly new gutters. I think he said they were like 3 months old, and the bleach just ate right through them. I guess it was within 2 weeks. The homeowner, I'm making up time frames, I don't remember, but the homeowner complained about a bunch of pinholes in their gutters. And I had that same thing happen here in the New Orleans area. A guy called me up and said, hey, man, he had old rain gutters, and then they had a section where they had replaced the rain gutters. The old rain gutters were still fine, if I remember correctly, but the new rain gutters, the bleach just ate them up. And so some of the discussion that has gone on, and I think this is where it will overlap into the Galvalume thing, is that the algae resistant. So somebody brought up the algae resistant shingles and the copper and all that. Maybe that's helping to do that. And there was something about the CertainTeed presidential shingles said that if you're in a low rain area or a salt fall area, kind of a thing. So those are things I want to explore and try to help bring light to. That's what I like to do. That's why, like Tyvek and all, it was all because I want to avoid these problems in the future.
Yeah. And there, and let's just face it. I mean, we call it a galvanic reaction, and a galvanic reaction, it ties directly into the galvalume and the galvanized metal. And I mean, this galva as a prefix to these words has a definite import there. There's definitely something going on with the galvanization of things that's causing reactions. And I just don't know if and we know that bleach reacts with some things more so than others. We know that we know that it reacts with a galvanized metal. We know that it happens, but I just believe there's some metal on metal reaction that's happening there. But
something that's going on there.
Something's happening, and I could easily see that if we're getting some copper flecks in there, if it's an algae resistant shingle that has some copper granules embedded into it, if they're getting knocked loose, I could definitely see that causing problems with the gutters. And that's kind of scary, honestly,
Yeah. And, you can rinse as thoroughly as you want to rinse. I don't think you're ever going to get all of the sodium hypochlorite off the roof anyhow.
This might be a reason, for the Agent Hold, and then Joe Shuttle's Nutripods on there, and toss a few of those up.
The problem with the Nutripods, though, is that's only going to help when it gets to the downspout. It's not going to help inside the rain gutters.
Well, no, I mean, if you stuck 2 or 3 of them, along in the gutter out there as stuff came down, and you got a little bit of water in the trench system of the gutter, it may help some in there. I mean, I wouldn't stick them, because they're made to be put in the gutters itself. Now, if you've got gutter guards and screwed on gutter screens and guards on there, it's going to be real tough to put them in there, because I am not taking gutter guards off. Been there, done that,
Yeah. That makes me wonder if Joe would consider creating like some sort of a strip, like a tube, like a gutter sock, but only the diameter of it is quarter inch, half inch, just something like that. I don't know, just as
long, like a long
that you just lay inside the gutter to help with that. Again, though, we're talking about a 1 in a million now. Obvious exaggeration. I'd like to know what that actual number is. Is it 1 in 500? Is it 1 in 1,000? 1 in 2,000 roof cleanings? Since we don't deal with much gutters here in the South, it's just kind of one of them things. But
I see the comment about the bigger corporate stuff, and the bigger corporate stuff is the bigger corporate stuff, and it's a marathon, not a sprint, and it takes time, and it could take years to develop that. You could have huge investments. I remember there was a facilities maintenance company out of Orlando called Eco, and they actually flew me to Chicago to pitch, I believe it was Chase Bank, and looking at all of their locations in the United States. And it was potentially millions and millions of dollars on there. So,
yeah, absolutely. All right. So we're nowhere near on topic, and we're already half an hour into it, which is what normally happens. And everybody knows that, I think. But, hey, it's just one of them things. So pictures. Let's talk a little bit about pictures, and let's talk about how they can hurt your business, how they can help your business, and how they can screw you in insurance, and how they can help you in insurance. Because I think a lot of times we focus on before and after pictures, but it's not just the before and after pictures that you're out there taking and doing. Some of it is just the pictures that you're posting, or that you're taking and not posting, that can help you in the long run when you're accused of something or when something goes wrong. But more importantly, I think, are the pictures that you're posting online and that are detrimental to the look of your company and what it is that you do. And even going back to the rain gutters part of it, when he took his pictures, he caught that those were newer rain gutters as well. So again, just kind of going full circle around with that.
Yeah, you can't take too many pictures out there, and things like there's some softwares now. Company Cam is one that makes it even easier to catalog and organize and share with people. But we all have cell phones out there. What a great place to take photographs out, and go ahead and get the extra storage. And you and I have always said photograph. But first thing on a job, take pictures of it. And I see pictures like at multiple levels with this company. The person that goes out and bids, the opportunity owner, the operations manager, the salesperson, whoever there is going out to look at the property. They're going out taking. The technicians are out there taking photographs before and after the jobs, and I'm listening into team meetings, and it's like, anything damaged you see, same stuff that you and I've preached over and over and over for years. And if there's damage, take a picture of it. If it looks out of place, take a picture of it. We have a friend, I won't say his name, but I loved him. He got off the truck, and literally he makes his technicians go in and send a picture of all the property protection that's been done on the property before the technicians get the okay to spray from the office. They literally, the techs have to go in there, take a picture of all the outlets, the door locks, the lights, everything that's
not a bad idea. Yeah. Because not only that, but it also documents that it has actually physically been done.
Yep.
And it's not a bad thing to do at all. One of the points in the pictures, though, too, is that I see a lot of pictures where guys say, well, I took a picture of the front door. Okay. And so I got it. I got a picture of the front door. I got a close up of the front door. They didn't catch the entire front door. Okay. So you want pictures from back here and pictures from up here. You want to catch, I would almost say you're better to have a further back picture,
Yeah.
because in today's day and age, the digital cameras, I can zoom in on the picture and see a lot of things that you may have missed, right?
Well, you want to make sure you want to get pictures of where the house is still dirty before you clean it.
Absolutely.
You know, you want to get pictures of well, yeah, the door's messed up because you took a picture of it. Well, no, this is this is a before picture. Look at the green there in the door jamb, or look at the green on the concrete in front of it. I mean, this is part of it. But then
it's the same thing with looking at the dirt in between the cracks.
Yep.
You see the grass growing up. No, we didn't crack your concrete.
Yeah, we didn't crack that. Look, there's literally grass growing up through the crack there. And something else. And another thing on pictures is look at the stuff you post. Understand your insurance companies are out here. We've talked to Bo about this before, and the insurance companies are in the groups. They see the pictures whenever you get up there and are doing unsafe things and behaving not in a good manner. And you've got technicians up on a roof and they're not harnessed in. They're seeing that. And I personally know of people whose insurance has been canceled because they were seen online of them up on roofs without harnesses on there. It's okay to take the before and after pictures of the roofs, but don't take pictures of your crews working in an unsafe or an OSHA violation manner.
Even in a safe manner. You got to watch what you post, even in a safe manner. What I mean by that is that we had one, I guess this has been a good number of years back, where I did a post that I thought would be pretty cool of how we're cleaning. We were cleaning a 2-story roof from the ground, okay? But we weren't actually on the ground. We were on a step ladder that was a 12-foot step ladder. It was placed on concrete. It was placed on the concrete walkway. And the guy's up there, he's standing correctly on the ladder. And just everything that we did, I thought was, hey, this is all good and correct and all that kind of stuff. So I've got a picture of him, spraying the roof. I think I actually took a video of him spraying the roof. And then another one where, my technicians on an extension ladder got the bullhorns out, or the stabilizers out. The ladder's at the perfect angle. Everything is good. And he's spraying from there. And I got a phone call probably, I don't know, several weeks after I had posted that from my agent. And he's like, dude, take that stuff off your website. And I'm like, why? The guy is, we're doing everything safely. He's like, trust me, take that stuff down. You don't want that to be seen. I was surprised because, man, we were doing everything right, I thought.
Yeah, it's and then remember your competition. Another thing that's your competition will use stuff. Don't assume everybody's nice and is a friend and is going to do things fairly and honestly. People will use stuff that you've done out there and use it against you. And you could have people literally going, look at this company. I know that, they're doing OSHA violations right here. Look at them up on roofs. And I know they don't have workmen. I know this company doesn't have workman's comp. And, there's nobody tied off on that. You can literally have your competition doing that to you and throwing you under the bus,
even with guys that pay cash under the table and all that kind of fun stuff, and where you'd be surprised that at sometimes people come up and they'll ask questions like, oh, hey man, you guys are doing a good job, blah blah blah. How long have you been with the company? Oh yeah, 3 years. Okay, that's great, blah blah. But then you go to find out that that's not who that is. That's somebody that's actually checking up on you. And then you're running cash under the table. Oh, yeah, I got workers' comp.
Yeah.
But you're running cash on that guy. And he just got done saying he's been there for 3 years. I guess that's off topic too.
Yeah. But that's true, though. A good investigator, you will never, now it's different with OSHA. OSHA has to, say they're with OSHA and show you their credentials. But you get an insurance investigator, a good damn investigator, you'll never know that they're an investigator whenever they're checking on you.
All right, I'm gonna go back to the questions here. This one here was that's a new one with the gutters. This is why we rinse all of our roofs. I'm gonna tell you on both occasions that I'm not sure with Joe's, but the roofs were rinsed. That's what I was saying before, where you can't fully rinse a roof. That's where, like Ray was saying, maybe doing a follow up with some Agent Halt might have helped prevent that situation. The next one says how to handle an apartment management company when they call to ask for a quote and you know they're going to have multiple companies give quotes. I asked if there was a budget in mind. Look, I'll start off with this one in that if I know that they're just after quotes, that they're going to take the lowest bid, I usually will qualify them right off the bat. And not that I won't bid the job, but a lot of times I won't. I'll simply tell them, I'll even ask, like I think you said, is there a budget in mind? And then they'll say, yeah, I mean, we can't give out budgetary information, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. I just want you to know, if you're looking for that cheapest price, that's not going to be us. Do you still want to quote, from there?
But sometimes they can give out budget information. Sometimes
exactly.
they have, sometimes they will give it out there, and I've been pleasantly dumbfounded before where I'm walking around a project and, I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is going to be a $3,000-$4,000 project here. And they're like, yeah, we figure, we've got like $6,000-$7,000 to spend on it. Huh?
It depends on how you play the game with them. That is very, very true.
And I also, one of the things that I always do with my guys whenever I'm talking to them is saying, hey, what is, are you compelled to take low bid? A lot of times they'll tell you if they are, no, it's really up to me. And, I can't take something really wacky out of line, but, and then it's like, also, are you going to be comparing apples to apples? And that's one where we have to do a better job of selling ourselves, but, let the
and line iteming it.
And I'll line item it and also give them your qualifications. And that's a great reason to follow up on an email. I mean, go ahead and hand them your insurance, but then do the follow-up email that doesn't even involve your bid. By the way, it was a pleasure meeting with you. Now, I just wanted you to have, my insurance information. By the way, here's our vehicle information with $500,000 limits per occurrence on here. Here's our workers' comp information. Here's our liability insurance information, just to start giving them that. So, and that's what I mean, the apples to apples, because if they go out there with, Dan in a van or Chuck in a truck that doesn't have these things, well, yeah, they can work a lot cheaper for me than me because they don't have the insurances that I have.
But that's also where you can pre-qualify the customer too you can flat ask them, well, I mean, I guess what I'm looking to find out, I know you can't give me that number. You already told me you can't give me that number, but I'm curious if you're looking for the $3,000 cleaning or if you're looking for the $6,000 cleaning, because there's a big difference in those companies, and this is where the apples to apples. So sometimes by bringing in a price range, you can really narrow down where it is that they're at, or even by simply asking them, have you ever had this work done before? What was the scope of that work, and what was the bid that was accepted the last time around, knowing that prices have gone up?
Absolutely. Something else I know when we were kind of pre-gaming and we were talking about, CYA pictures. Absolutely. One of the other things that you and I talked about with pictures, and in this day and age when it seems like everybody and their brother is selling a class online on YouTube, be successful, be this, be that. I know that you and I have oftentimes said, hey, this is why you need to ask somebody to see their pro forma or their their QuickBooks or let them see your profit and loss. I mean, do you actually make a living washing? Have you ever made a living washing, or do you make a living selling classes? Have you actually done what you're telling me you're going to teach me to do? And a really good way to find that out is the pictures. Because, I mean, honestly, any of the guys that have been here in the business for any time, we tend to be very prideful. I know I am, and I don't mean that in a bad way. That's one of the 7 deadly sins. But I've probably got, a couple of thousand selfies on there of me making goofy ass faces on job sites going, or, pictures of the jobs, pictures of the rigs and the trucks. And, these guys are really good at making videos that, oh, we're going to wash this house today. But it's like, okay, let's see the fleet of trucks that you supposedly run. Let's see the larger jobs that, the apartment complexes that you're telling people how to get, because you're saying this, but you're not actually ever showing that this has been done. I know one of the more famous people in this industry who's I'm not even going to go there, but somebody who supposedly sold a company for millions of dollars and had dozens of crews and trucks working for him. We've literally never seen a picture of him in front of his trucks, at his office, pressure washing, anything like that, which I always found to be very strange.
We talked about that earlier, because it's like, he's a loud voice, loud, yeah, in the industry, but you've never seen, not one time seen anything that he's ever actually done. Never seen a truck, never seen any of that. And that's a surprising thing when you look at it that way.
There's a lot of guys out there, and S3 brings up a great point right there. Let's talk about runoff and someone taking photos of your truck and SH running down the storm drain. 100%. Hell, just with water running down a storm drain, really not a good optic to have out there. It's one of the reasons that, I know you should have these gutter snakes out there. You should have this filtration system and drain covers and, and sometimes it's unavoidable. That does not make it legal, but at least if, you can photograph that you've made an effort to stop this, or, you're not letting it run in there unfiltered. It's an important thing to do. And those photographs can be very damning, very damning for you.
And you got to think about sometimes, like, we talk about what area you're in, what neighborhood you're in. If you happen to know that, which way they swing, and I guess I'll throw it this way, Washington State, right? You've got the people in the eastern side of the state, Spokane area, they're Trumpish. And if you go over to the Seattle area, they're more Bidenish. And so you have to look and say, if I'm working in the Seattle area, right, there's no way I'm going to do something that is going to allow stuff to go down the drain where it's appearing soapy, or even just as water, because those people are going to be so touchy on that. Yet they're the first ones to go out and wash their damn car, put more chemical down than you do.
I mean, let's face it. I mean, on a true storm sewer that goes into a storm sewer that's going into a public waterway, it doesn't matter if it's just water or not. Technically, it's illegal. The only thing that's allowed to go down there is storm water. Hence the name storm sewer.
Storm sewer. Hey. This is uncalled for, Scott. Now, come on. When was the last time Dougie cleaned something at this
You're
rate?
The $99 instructor.
Hey, I took a shower today. I cleaned something. I just want you to know that. That's what I want you to know. I'm not the $99 guy, dude. I'm the $0 guy.
But, getting back on the pictures, it's just, I mean, pictures can make or break you. I mean, pictures can literally, sit there, and it can be your best friend and it can be your worst nightmare out there. And you don't want to get yourself, and more so, I know we talk about the harnessing and the roof safety and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What you would never want is for a picture, like if you were going up against a bid on somebody that was a fairly high profile, job, and you know, a picture of a bunch of your guys up on a roof without harnesses on and without, you know, and I'm not saying don't follow OSHA guidelines at all, but remember, I mean, if you're at minimum, you ought to be wearing a freaking harness so it looks like you're trying to be safe up there.
Yeah.
Even if you're not trying to be safe, again, I'm not recommending that, but you know, you can't even use the plausible excuse of we were looking for a tie-off point. We were about to put ropes out. We were about, you know, well, no, I mean, you've got a wand and you're spraying a roof. I mean, obviously you're not trying to do that.
It's obvious of what you're doing. And like Michael's saying here, he says, my insurance went up for posting pics of me on a 120-foot lift. Absolutely. And that's what we're talking about. And I think you're going to see, especially as the years go on, you'll see more of that, because now they don't have to leave their office and go find you or follow you or anything like that. You are flat giving them the evidence that they need to raise rates on you.
You're literally sending it to them on your social media profiles.
Absolutely.
You know? And don't get me wrong, those pictures look amazing and they're great, but understand this can be this can be the result of posting pictures like that, you know.
Absolutely.
And remember, you know, you will get into situations where competition can use your actions and your pictures against you. And I'm not saying it's cool. I'm not saying it's right. But understand, I mean, this can be a pretty dog-eat-dog world. And especially as we get, you know, less ethical, less qualified people in this field also gets more and more, you know, packed, it seems like. Yeah, people can get, you know, get hardcore about this. And you know, if you had an absolute jackwagon out there that sent guys all up on you know, a roof out there and they're running around with nothing, again, you know, you have a fairly high profile place that you know cares about insurance. I mean, say, well, look, this is what we see, you know, this is what we see some of our competition doing. And we promise we're never going to do that to you because, you know, it's in the public eye and we understand that you have to maintain a certain look about your facilities out there. Again, I'm not saying I would ever do that, but there are people that would do that, you know?
And Scott, yes, I intentionally left off your comment just because, but you know, you can see it. Everybody can see it. It's all seeable anyhow.
And somebody's asking if I'm waiting to go into the bar. No, I'm waiting to go join that crew working over there. So
supervisor.
I got to go walk and do their check the job and see how it's going.
There you go.
See if I can help them with anything.
And then the other thing that we do is we're not going to get into politics about who's Biden and the fact of what he really is.
The best part is you talk about hardcore. So this company, so I'm going to be out here with the night crew tonight. This will be a few hour job, but our Tuesday morning managers meeting starts at 5:45. So this company is brutal with the go get 'em hardcore attitude, you know. I love it.
And Scott, if you're talking about me, you're wrong. I do not sell roofing. I did that for a very brief moment in time. I'm just, you know, I'm one of them guys. I'm as honest as the day is long, and I'm just not. I don't cut corners. I don't do things a certain way. So, yeah, Scott, that gig is over with. Anyhow, Wild West says, "Wait a minute. I've never seen either one of these guys cleaning anything." I think he's talking about you and me, right?
Probably so.
Nah, definitely.
It's all a lie.
It's all a lie. It's all a lie. Well, yeah, I mean, me, the last time I cleaned something's probably been, well, I mean, I sold the company December 18th, but I don't know that I had actually been out cleaning anything for a while. But I still went out and did commercial stuff. So
last time I cleaned something was October 31.
There you go. Chicagoland says insurance underwriters have special permissions to get into all. So Social media sites. I almost said sodium hypochlorite sites.
Yeah, that would not surprise me at all,
Yep.
Tommy. That's yeah, and
Mhm.
good for them because, hey, look, I mean, screw ups like that cost all of us. I mean, big big screw ups like that. Whenever somebody has a massive insurance claim on things like that, it really does cost all of us collectively as an industry.
Right.
We in some ways we need to be the guys that enforce our own. We need to kind of police our own industry and say, look, that looks unsafe. Look, I'm gonna, you know, not trying to be a jerk here, but you really do need to be putting plywood down or a mat down underneath that lift. You really do need to be tied off. You really do need to be, this, that, or the other. Whenever you really do need to, it blows my mind. All the guys that I see out here with their videos of not putting, I mean, I see these guys touting this here's a AR-60 pump and it blows 12 gallons of water a minute, and we can wash a house in 10 minutes flat. And I don't see any tape on any outlets, and I see them just blasting water on them. People are like, well, you're an asshole for saying something about that. And I'm like, I'm really not, because I want to know how much damage is being caused to and you're not even
It's
putting
not
a
only that, but
modicum of
it's also about, sometimes it's just about, I think sometimes people are taking things the wrong way. I mean, I know that I have called people. I know I have reached out to them through Facebook, whatever, said, hey man, I saw that picture that you did this or did that. And, just wanted to let you know from an outside perspective how that appears. Or, you might try doing it this way. It'd be a little bit safer for you. And it's not about anything other than helping that person out. I mean, I've done things where, local competitors and all that, where it's more about, I don't want to see them get hurt, period. I don't care that they're my competitors, because I don't really have any competitors, but I don't want to see them getting hurt kind of no matter what. So a lot of times it's reaching out to help somebody. And if it's
I mean,
taken the wrong way,
it doesn't take that many pictures of houses on fire, to sit there and realize, well, maybe you ought to, we had one recently, where it was like the pressure washer was there that day. And then that night, the outlet caught on fire because of,
Mm-hmm. Scott, that's actually going to happen when he launches the spray. All right, that will happen once the power wash store in Tallahassee opens up.
What am I teaching a class on?
How to have good hair. Doesn't matter what the class is, but just Scott says, let's have Burke teach a class. We should have 10 people come to Tally, and I'll pay the admission. And I'm saying we're going to have that.
I have a lot more than 10 come to my grand opening.
Absolutely.
Hey, Doug, I got to excuse myself. I got to get out here and help these guys because this is actually my job. So this week.
Yeah, we're almost an hour in. I'm going to go through the final comments. Appreciate you.
All right, guys, joining. Y'all have fun. I'm going to excuse myself. Thank y'all so much. And sorry, I'm here in the truck, but like I said, I'm in Jacksonville for 2 weeks doing some work stuff. So thank y'all so much. We appreciate it. And all right, I'll talk to y'all soon. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, buddy.
Peace out. We'll see you. Hey, and I'm gonna throw this one out there for Scott. Scott says, I am sponsoring the Power Wash Store of Tallahassee first cleaning event, 10 for free admissions. So I'll let you know, Scott is real and he's true, and he actually does do that. He actually pays for people to do, to have things. He's given away several things in the past and gets nothing in return for it other than harassment. And so Scott's a good dude, even though we fuss and fight with each other. It's purely out of love. He loves me, I don't love him, but that kind of thing. So anyhow, Scott's a good guy, and he does mean that when he says stuff like that, just so that y'all know that. So he's got a big company. So anyhow, Officer Wild West. Let's see. Some people need more training. Absolutely. I can't say that enough. We talk about it all the time, but training is one of those things that you also have to remember is a regional thing. And you really do have to look at who you're getting trained by and what it is that they've actually done. That's where we went into the picture things earlier, and we're talking about, looking at the pictures of the person that's doing the teaching and the training. And it's not only that. I mean, I know for me, if I'm going to hire a company to do something, I jump on to the internet and I look at their Facebook page. I look and I see what kind of jobs they've done, what they haven't done, those kinds of things. Are they specific to me? Can I find something on their page? With the internet and Facebook and the Google machine, if you're not posting stuff, that can actually hurt your business. You can grow your business just by posting the pictures of what it is that you do. All right, let's see. Facebook user says, just getting in, guys. Have you addressed the SH gutter issue yet? Yes, we have. You have to go back a little bit, but I'll just recap real quick that we're going to do a little bit of, I'm going to do a little bit of research into trying to figure out who, what, where, when, why, and how that this is happening, because this is the third time that I'm aware of with new gutters where the new gutters have just completely rotted out. And this last one, I think he said was 3 months old. So that's something we're going to do a little bit of investigative work on. I think it has a lot to do with the gutter coils. And, we've had some thoughts about the Certainteed presidential shingles having the algae resistance. And so I'm gonna dive into some of that over the next month or two and see if I can't figure out some of what's going on with that. Scott again saying, yeah, I say I'll pay for 10. So the first 10 people that go to the spray wash event in Tallahassee, when that one happens, Scott is going to pay for the first 10 people. Now, mind you, that the first 10 people's cost is 10 grand. And then we'll figure out what everybody else's cost later on. Send me the check. I'm ready for it, Scott. Let's see. Later, Ray. Steven says, I think he means come from Tally. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see. How do I get certified as Spray Wash Academy Pro? It's not about getting certified as a Spray Wash Academy Pro. It's about certain classes that you get certified through. You can still, if you look at the very bottom right there, courses.spraywashacademy.com, there's some classes on there. And we will be adding more classes. Again, I go back into the studio. One of the metal roofing class is one of the ones that we'll be working. We're going to be working on several of them again. Part of something that's held us back has been Ray not having his store. So I couldn't use the equipment, although I can go out with Cajun Soft Wash. I don't want to use the equipment there. And so when the Power Wash store opens up in Tallahassee, we'll have all the equipment that we need to bring you better and more informed classes. That's kind of where we're at. Scott says, hopefully more to come. Absolutely. From employee number 7, by the way. Has anyone used the IPC Eagle vacuum system? I have not used that system. I don't know if anybody on here has used that system. Michael J is saying, thanks, Scott. And again, Scott's the real deal, just so you all know that. Dougie needs muskrat training. You know what? The only thing I know is that I'm gonna skip that. I wasn't supposed to click. Never mind. I'm gonna skip that one for right now because I think that I don't want to get into the drama of it. But yeah, muskrat's muskrat, and he got the nickname muskrat for a reason. I think he is a muskrat. I do not see Scott's comments. Big Rob, he basically said that he will pay for the first 10 people when we do the spray wash event in Tallahassee with the opening of the Power Wash store in Tallahassee, the grand opening event, which we don't know when that is, by the way. Hey, Wild West, appreciate that very much. Hit the thumbs up, guys. Appreciate it. Don't forget to share this out into different groups. It's kind of late for that, but share it out for us. We'd really appreciate it. If you're not a member of Spray Wash Academy, if you haven't clicked the button there, the subscribe button on YouTube, really would appreciate that. Experienced guys need more training. Absolutely. There is no point where you no longer need training. I don't believe that there's ever a point where you don't need to educate yourself, and things are ever changing. the invent of the proportioner, that changed the industry. So that even though we're still spraying bleach in water, I mean, the industry, my whole point to that is the industry is changing, it's evolving. We've got issues now with rain gutters and bleach. So you always need training. You always got to keep going, learning from, even if it's just reading all the comments and going through all the comments online in the different places. Educate yourself. Big Rob giving the thumbs up. Thanks from the Facebook user. Chicagoland says, I am in, and that will be for the event. I am totally sure. Let's see. Perry Tate saying training should be the all science, technique, and safety. Knowledge is power. Without the science behind your knowledge, you really don't know why you know what you know. You know, that's a key thing, is that you don't know what you don't know. And so sometimes by learning, listening to other people and their perspectives of it, you get to learn a little bit about what it is that you don't know. And sometimes we think we know something, only to find out, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. You know, so the very first time the gutter issue came up with me, I was like, there's no way, dude. There is absolutely no way on God's green earth that you caused that damage to those rain gutters. It's just not going to happen. Well, guess what? That was being closed-minded and realizing now that it is something that can happen, and that we have to, now it's my job. I'm taking it on to try to find out what I can do to figure out what happened. Will I ever get there? Maybe not. Will I have some good hypotheses after a while? Probably so. But I want something that's more provable, right? I want to get some gutter coil. I want to. So I'll throw this out there. If any of y'all ever have that, if you can get a section of that gutter to send to me, I'd greatly appreciate it, because I would like to do some testing on that with some other gutters as well. So that's one of my intentions, one of the things I plan to do. And Scott's referring to the muskrat, I am pretty sure. Some people think they think that didn't just go buy a pressure washer and they know everything about the business. That is so true, and a lot of it is misinformation out there, YouTube, Facebook, all that kind of stuff. That's why Ray and I like to teach from a reality standpoint, and from a we've actually been there, we can prove it, you know, kind of a standpoint. That's what we like to do. We try to get the he said, she says out of there and put in, you know, this person said, or that person said, or certainty said, so that we know where that information came from. Without training, they are wrong. Absolutely. I've already committed to paying the light bill at Ray's store every month. That's awesome. Let's see. Insane Clown Pose, ICP. There you go. All right. Wild West is there. Scott's throwing this one out there. The only way to make a vacuum system work is to go straight industrial setups. Most any other systems are not worth a damn. Again, Scott's got a good company. I mean, he knows what he's talking about on these kinds of things, so I'd listen to that. That's for true. One day it will come. If you build it, they will come. Big Rob is saying, always open to learn more about this industry. Absolutely. I say you can learn from a 2-year-old, believe it or not. I've been doing it for over 40 years and learn something every day, and that is so important. Absolutely. You know, if you're not learning, or you think you're not learning, you think there's nothing left to learn about a certain industry, I think you're just doing yourself a disservice, and your clients a disservice, because every day you can learn something, whether it's about this industry or not. It is about educating yourself on what it is that you're doing. Warehouse and retail space around here is so rare to find. Something will eventually come up. Yep, that's a fact. There's been some good possibilities, just nothing's bore fruit yet. Amen, Kelly. 28 years, and I'm learning more and more. Absolutely. And Perry says, I use this a lot. Compatibility of chemicals and materials. HTTP, copolymer, chemical resistance. Yeah, that's actually one of the areas that I wanted to look into. Again, I want to try to figure out what's going on with the rain gutters and see if there is a way to figure out exactly what's happening, and if it's provable to figure out why it's happening, and if there's a way to prevent it from happening, which I think just flooding the gutters isn't going to do it, believe it or not. I think you almost would have to clog the gutters and and let them overflow just to keep the solution from resting on the bare insides at all. But that's just not practical for most jobs. Stephen Michael says Anthony Johnson won't be able to walk in there to support that light bill if he don't leave my sign alone that's been standing for 6 months. Ooh, booyah, busted. Leave the signs alone. All right, couple more here. It sure is nice to have affirmation from your peers. Absolutely. Let's see. We just had to throw out 3,000 units of new product design for alcohol sanitizer. The paint we used was 2% polyester, and we didn't know it dissolves in alcohol. That's another good point, though, and it's one of the things that I thought about with the roofing side of it and the cleaning of the roof, Galvaloon roofing in particular. When they're setting these things up, they are not thinking about what it is that we do, how it is that we do, why it is that we do. They don't care about that. I don't think they care at all about the cleaning of their products and that sort of thing. That's why when you read the manufacturer's instructions or recommendations for cleaning, it's pretty much always the same thing: mild soap, and water. Let's throw in some simple green. If you want to get it really aggressive, they stay away from all the bleaches a lot of times, or using the word bleach, even though they'll recommend a product that uses bleach. Okay, I think a lot of that is that they simply don't put the mind into maintaining that and how the industry actually maintains things. Yes, we know, Stephen. I believe that was true. I'm just playing in the look. I think if anybody's, it's just the same thing with Scott and I and Ray and bantering back and forth and picking on each other all the time. The only one that we're actually probably serious about is the muskrat thing. Anyhow, because I think he's worthless, but I won't go into that. Anyhow. That is, the hour is up. We're an hour and almost 15 minutes into it. Ray is gone. And I'm out of here. And I really appreciate y'all. And peace out. Take care of yourselves out there. And we will see you hopefully in January and hopefully this upcoming Thursday.